Hi, I'm Kevin.
And I'm Kenny.
No, Kermit. You were supposed to say you're Kermit, and that is not the costume I told you to buy.
What do you mean? I'm not wearing a costume.
Damn it, Kenny! No, you know what? That's it. I'm kicking you out of this segment. We have someone better suited for it anyway. Hey, Phillip, you're in.
Oh, yippee, we're gonna have a jolly good time.
It's not easy being green, having to spend each day
Oh no, you threw it right to him.
of the leaves.
Oh no, you did it again.
Being red or yellow or gold or
This trend is not going well for you.
that.
Uh-oh, look out. Oh no.
It's not easy.
That wasn't a jolly good play. I have a feeling this will not end well.
Many other ordinary things.
No, it did not.
And people tend to pass you over because you're not standing out like flashy sparkles in
That's using your head.
or stars in the sky.
Oh, please stop. He's already dead.
I'm green. It'll do fine.
Will it?
It's beautiful.
You sure?
And I think it's what I want to be.
Please rethink that. It looks like all there is pain. Kids, please don't grow up to be green.
There are a couple factors that go into who wins a football game that don't exactly jump out to you if you're looking at a box score. One of those factors is field position. In this game, Penn State's average starting field position was their 43-yard line. Michigan State's was their own 19-yard line. Put another way, that means Penn State is starting over 20 yards closer to the end zone than Michigan State on every single drive. That is a huge advantage. And one of the reasons they had that huge advantage is because of their fantastic punter, Blake Gillikin. On Penn State's opening possession, they went 3 and out and had to punt from their own 26-yard line. The line of scrimmage for this punt was Penn State's 26-yard line, and the Michigan State player caught it at a 17-yard line. That means that punt traveled 57 yards in the air from the line of scrimmage. Have you ever heard the term outkicking your coverage? What it means is that the punt travels so far in the air that the defenders don't have time to go down and make a tackle. You're giving the punt returner, who's usually really quick and really fast, a lot of open field to work with, and he can get a big return off of that, meaning that the long punt actually turns out hurting you more than it helps you. Now think about all the amazing punts Blake Gillikin has had this year, and can you think of one time where the opposing team has had a fantastic return off of those? No, you can't, because it's not just the fact that Blake Gillikin's getting great punts, it's the fact that we have fantastic coverage. Like I said before, this punt traveled 57 yards in the air from the line of scrimmage, and when the Michigan State player catches it, there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Penn State defenders right there ready to pin him up and make a tackle. Look at that, he has absolutely nowhere to go. That's a fantastic punt and fantastic coverage simultaneously, which is becoming a huge benefit for Penn State. They say great teams find a way to consistently win close games, and I don't necessarily agree with that. I think great teams find a way to put the game away before it can become a close game at the end. That is, they make sure the game is won before the bounce of a football or whether a ref decides to throw a flag or not can affect the outcome of the game. Well, with 2.5 minutes left before halftime, Penn State had a 4th and 1 just across midfield, leading 13-0. And conventional thinking would be like, hey, punt the football away, you'll probably get a stop, let's get into halftime with a 13-point lead, and we feel good about that. But that's exactly the kind of thinking that's happened to Penn State the last 2 years against Michigan State. They've had leads, but they haven't put the game away. They've let Sparty hang around, and like I said, at the end of the game, Spartans found a way to pull it out. But this year, James Franklin wasn't having any of that. After the game, he said that his initial gut instinct right here was to go for it. But he wanted to check with defensive coordinator Brett Pry before he made the official decision. Now, you might be thinking, defensive coordinator? Why is he talking with him? Why isn't he talking to the offensive coordinator? Well, what a lot of people say is that you should punt the ball and trust your defense. But frankly, I think that is stupid. Trusting your defense is not the reason to punt. Trusting your defense is the reason to go for it. Franklin wanted to check with Pry, and he's like, hey, I want to go for this. But if we fail, are you good defensively that you can get this stop and still keep this 13-0 lead going into halftime? So you're going to see here in a second, Brett Pry's going to move his hand away from his mouth. He's going to say, go for it. Franklin's going to immediately turn to Clifford, and he's going to say, go for it. And Penn State is going to go back on that field, make the correct fourth down decision, and put the game away. So right there, they're chatting it over. Go for it, he says. Franklin immediately relays the information, and that leads to this. First down. And that led to this. Touchdown! And that led to this. Hey, and while we're being aggressive, screw it! Let's go for 2! I love when my coach makes correct fourth down decisions.
Hey Kenny, what was the weather like Saturday? Was it a bit wet?
A bit wet? Ha! It was more like Hurricane Clifford! As raindrops say, 2's company, 3's a cloud. What's wrong with your nose?
Nothing seems to fit. Those raindrops are falling on my head. They keep falling.
Seriously, you might want to get that checked out. Can someone get the camera guy a towel? One of you was raised correctly. What are you trying out for the part of Rudolph in your school play? Are we sure this isn't a Pitt home game? Why are you so happy? Is it raining so hard you can't see the scoreboard? Your nose is running better than your offense. This guy, am I right? Mr. Trebek, I'll take poor life choices for 1,000. You hate to see it.
Because I'm free. Nothing's worrying me.
What's wrong with your nose?
Well, that's our show for this week. But before we go, we want to acknowledge the rumor that Michigan State coach Mark D'Antonio might retire at the end of this season. And if that is in fact true, Kenny has a little parting message from the show to him. But before you give that message, Kenny, I want to remind the audience of one thing. Back in 2008, Penn State and Michigan State played with the Big Ten title on the line. Penn State completely destroyed them 49-14 in front of a rambunctious crowd at Beaver Stadium. Now the game was a 3:30 kickoff, which meant by the time it was over, the sun had set and the temperatures had dipped below freezing levels. And with only 9 seconds left, the Beaver Stadium crowd was ready to celebrate their Big Ten championship. Except Mark D'Antonio wanted to be a douchebag. He took a timeout with 9 seconds left for no reason. And then, after that, he took another timeout. Again, for no reason. There were 9 seconds left on the clock. The only explanation is that he was a sore loser and he wanted that crowd to wait in the freezing cold temperatures as long as possible before they got to officially celebrate. So Mark D'Antonio, if this is your last season, we got one thing to say to you.
Don't let the door hit your me on the way out. Get it? 'Cause I'm an ass.
Nailed it, Kenny.